Hello Facebook, hello YouTube, happy Wellbeing Wednesday. If you are watching me in real time, welcome back to my studios and a really good live planned for Wellbeing Wednesday, talking about skin health and in particular skin health as we age. I get asked so many times to talk about this, to talk about some of the things that I do, the things that I take, the things that I think are good, what to watch out for with certain types of supplements. So there's really so much to say. And, you know, just as a little bit of background here, I am obviously deeply involved in skin and dermal research. I have written, 36 books technically and counting. Some of them are quite small, obviously. Some of them are bigger. Some of my big books on skin, for example. And things like digestive health and absorption, nutrition. Some of my publications are behind me here. So I've been looking at the world of skin and aging well for 35 years. And everything that I do, as you know, on Earle Wellbeing is evidence-based. So I don't follow trends, I don't follow fads, and I really try and do forensic research, not just using the University of Google, but as I say to my team here always, it's really important to look at peer-reviewed, published studies, particularly look at things like meta-analysis, look at the journals where details are published, look at resources like PubMed, but very often talk to the academics themselves, talk to the researchers, because so often what we see in the press or what we read, or particularly what you might see on a press release, is not in fact founded on real science. So it's very good. One of the things that I love about my job here is being able to connect with the real clinicians and people who are top of their tree. Most of the researchers that I talk to are professors, they run leading dermatological establishments, they're award-winning consultants. So that is the kind of the background, and that's my history, and that's where I place my emphasis always. Thank you very much, Isabel. Lovely to see you. Oh no, ducks to Deb says, hello from the Lake District. I'm soaking wet. Well, I hope you get a chance to pour yourself a nice cup of tea and sit down and warm up and dry off, more importantly. It's not wet here. It's a bit grey. I'm in London. It's a little bit grey, but it's not too bad actually. When you think we're nearly in November, yeah, clocks are going back, aren't they, this weekend if you're watching in real time. Nikki says, I've just been to the pumpkin farm in Devon. Amazing. Have you got them ready for the weekend? Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to flood my Instagram, I think, with pictures of lovely pumpkin carvings. I'm not into the kind of ghouly Halloween scary stuff, but I do like a bit of attractive pumpkin carving. It's a bit of a mouthful. In fact, I think one of my early... Yeah, let me just show you something. Thank you, Nikki, you reminded me. One of my very early magazine covers. Well, I don't think you can see it very well, actually. I don't know if anybody has got this one. This is going back a long way, this magazine. This is, gosh, autumn 2015. That is 6 years ago. How scary is that? Think about it. Can you see? That was actually using a drill, an electric drill, to do pumpkin carving, pumpkin decorations. I think we've got some lovely pictures in here. You can get some of the back issues actually online on the website if you want to see. Wow, this has taken me back a bit. It's a real trip down memory lane looking at some of these amazing things. And of course it's all seasonal as well. Have I got, here we go, pumpkin power. Let's see, yeah, look at that. Lovely. Is that giving you inspiration maybe for the weekend? If you look at decorative carvings. Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. And then you're going to make soup with the inside. Even better. I think on Earle Wellbeing we did put up a great pumpkin soup recipe. I think my team put it up maybe yesterday or the day before. So take a look. So talking about things going on inside. Today we are going to do a deep dive into really the workings of the skin as we age, because there are certain things that I have really got to rely on as I've got older in my 50s, and one of those is collagen. Now collagen there's been so much in the news about collagen. There are lots of different varieties of collagen on the market, lots of people taking them, a lot of doctors saying, well, I'm not really sure the evidence is out there yet. In fact, I was interviewing a senior consultant surgeon yesterday, and who works in aesthetics, and was saying, actually, do you know, I'm not really convinced. So I thought that we would invite back a really great guy, an award-winning pharmacist, so somebody who really knows the workings of drugs and medications, Perpinda Katora, who is a founder of Ingenious Beauty, and this is the collagen supplement actually that I take. So I'm not paid, by the way. They don't pay me to say this. And I've been approached actually by several different collagen supplement companies in the past to be a paid influencer, and always turned them down just because I felt the science hasn't stacked up. So what I'm really looking forward to doing is having a live chat here about this. So if you've got questions on Instagram, please keep them coming in, because it would be good to have a chat about it. And of course, it's not just collagen, but there are other supplements as well that really help support the skin. We know about antioxidants, we know about essential fatty acids, we know about things like vitamin C and how important things like liposomal delivery systems are, which is really interesting. So let's see whether we have Perpinda in the house. Feeling Ingenious Collagen. So let's see. I think you should be able to connect. Apologies on Facebook and YouTube. You won't be able to see Perpinda, but you will be able to hear. And as always, it's all about content, not what we look like. Yeah? Although some things do help. Good afternoon, Perpinda.
Hi, Liz. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very nice to see you. How is life treating you? It's been a while since we've spoken.
It's good. Thank you very much. I am a bit croaky today, so forgive me. I've got a little bit of this cold thing going on, so my voice may sound a bit funny.
Oh, do you know, there are so many coughs and colds around. I think it's because we've all been locked in for so long and not socialising and not being exposed to kind of all the normal bugs and viruses that are around. I mean, is that something that you'd agree with? Obviously, you're a pharmacist, so you're used to treating people coming in for wanting cold and flu remedies.
Cough and cold is the primary at the moment, definitely in the pharmacy.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your background. So you're a pharmacist. What's your medical training, your medical background?
So I'm a pharmacist, multi-award winning. I've done a 4 years master's degree at King's College London. I'm also a member of the Society of Cosmetic Scientists.
Wow.
And I've also been an advisor to large pharmaceutical companies on training, development and product development.
Interesting. Do you want to turn your volume up a wee bit? I've turned you up as far as I can go on mine. But just
that's the max on mine. Is that okay?
Yeah, hopefully I can hear you okay. Let me know if anybody is having an issue with that. But yeah, hopefully
I will
that's good.
attempt to speak a bit louder for you.
Thank you. Sorry with a croaky voice. It's not easy, is it? So what first sparked your interest then in supplements for the skin particularly?
So David and I, David's my business partner, and he has a very keen interest in human biochemistry, and we met on a consulting job.
So I remember interviewing David a while ago now. It must be kind of nearly a year ago. His background is also in pharmaceuticals. Is that right, from a technical perspective?
That's right. He was a consultant in the pharmaceutical world. Yeah. So we met and we just got talking, and he showed me a paper from Harvard on collagen and joint care and joint health and so forth, and it seemed very interesting. So David and I started researching and working on the product because his wife's also an arthritic sufferer. So we thought, let's give this a go. Why not?
Isn't that interesting that we associate collagen supplements with skin and beauty, but actually the original research papers were coming out of arthritis care?
That's right. Yeah, those are the papers years and years ago. There's still ongoing work happening now. So David and I started down that track, and we saw this was 20 years ago, so it's a long time ago.
Gosh.
So we went along that track, produced a product, tried it anecdotally, and saw some positives. And we thought, we're onto something. Let's try and head down the pharma medical route. That proved to be full of bumps and hoops and everything else. So we thought, okay, this isn't really going to work. So a lot of the patients we tried it on noticed some interesting side effects. And the side effects were healthier skin, stronger nails, healthier hair.
Yeah.
So David and I had a bit of a eureka moment and thought, okay, shall we try this angle, but use a pharmaceutical approach rather than a food supplement approach, which is minimal regulation. So that's why we started our process, and everything we've done is purely scientifically backed. And that's how we came up with our unique delivery mechanism, the reason we use the certain collagen peptides we use.
Which is what resonated with me, to be honest, because I've been researching collagen, you know, as one of the many, many things that I've been researching for, you know, a couple of years, really, and haven't been convinced, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, because we know that when you ingest collagen powders, they break down into amino acids in the stomach, in the digestive system. Doesn't make them bad. It just means that, you know, you might kind of think, oh, I'm swallowing collagen, therefore that collagen ends up intact in my skin. And it doesn't. It breaks down. That's not to say that it's not a useful thing to have little bits of collagen peptides floating around, but it's not perhaps working in the way that we think. And then when I came across yours, it's all about this encapsulation, but not only that, which I'd like to talk about from a scientific point of view, but also the other things that you put with it, the hyaluronic acid and the astaxanthin. I'm wearing pink in honour of astaxanthin, by the way.
I can see that,
So let's talk about the delivery method first. Let's talk about why you think that having things in capsules is beneficial.
So it's not just in capsules. It has to be in a capsule that will not be affected by digestion in the stomach.
Okay.
So when you're having protein generally, your body does and your stomach does what it's supposed to do, i.e. breaks down the protein, starts that digestive process where you're breaking down big proteins into smaller proteins and then into peptides, which are small chunks of protein, and amino acids eventually. And this process continues through your digestive tract. So if you're taking collagen peptides, which are proteins, you're going to get some digestion happening as soon as you take it. So David and I thought, right, how are we going to overcome this? So we spent years researching, developing, because there were various mechanisms available, but they were pharma grade, and with pharma grade ones, we weren't too happy with some of the things that they put in there to protect the stomach acid. So we had a capsule made to our specification out of vegetable cellulose.
Interesting.
And what happens, that doesn't break down in the stomach acid. So the capsule itself is loaded with a relatively small amount of collagen. That goes down to your small intestine, and because you have less acid in the small intestine, that change in pH causes the capsule to degrade slowly over your small intestine, and the small intestine is the site of maximum nutrient absorption. So if you have a collagen peptide at the right size, at the right time, and everything is right, you're going to get absorption, and you'll see increased blood levels of collagen peptides. So that was our hypothesis. So after having the hypothesis, you then need to go on to prove that hypothesis. So the only way you're going to prove a hypothesis in this way is going to be by doing an independent clinical trial, which is what we did.
So an independent clinical trial, talk us through that, because people talk about, oh, this was tried, this was tested, but it may only be on a handful of people, you know, and not a clinically controlled trial. So from your perspective as a pharmacist, as somebody working with drugs and pharmaceuticals, what can you explain exactly how a clinical trial works to prove something evidentially?
Absolutely. So let's go a little bit backwards. So we'll go both ways. So firstly, a consumer trial is opinion. So if you could ask 100 people and say, what did you think about this product? And they will give you their opinion. Okay. So there's no measure.
Sure.
A clinical trial, and there are different levels of clinical trials. So we went for what's called a gold standard, double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized clinical trial. And I will go through that. I'll bring that up.
Okay. I hope everyone's got their notepad and pencil ready. But actually, guys, this is important. And, you know, for me, from what I was saying to you earlier, you know, with writing books and being evidence-based, when I get sent press releases on stuff the whole time, and it says, oh, in a trial, we found this. And so, the first question is, well, what was the trial?
What was the trial?
How many people? Is it clinically significant? Was it a gold standard, placebo-controlled, double-blind, randomized? You know, all of those things. So talk us through what that actually means.
The gold standard is the highest level of clinical trial you're going to do before you go to next major trials where you're producing a pharmaceutical to go out to public. So that's the first thing. Double blind. That means the people taking the product or the placebo, I'll tell you what placebo is in a second, don't know what they're taking.
Right.
Also, the people administering the product don't know what they're giving. So there is no way anyone knows what they're taking.
So there's no room for influence, because we know the brain is a powerful thing. So if you say to me, okay, well, I'm going to give you the active one and you the non-active one, there is a possibility, isn't there, that our brain is going to say, oh, well, I'm having the active one, so this definitely works. And even double blind, so the person taking it doesn't know, and the doctor giving it doesn't know, because there's always, you might go, oh, well, I'll give you this, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, this is the good one. But if they don't know either, you've taken out all that possibility for bias.
Absolutely right, absolutely right. And then placebo. So a placebo is an inert substance. So we used an inert substance in half of the sample. And
An inert substance being what exactly?
Could be anything. So it could be starch, rice powder.
Just nothing. Just something that's not going to have any effect. It's just a bit of
pharmacological effect.
No, just a bit of powdered rice or something in a capsule.
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely. So we've got gold standard, double-blind, placebo, randomised. So no one knew. There wasn't like a set way that the first 10 people are going to get this, the second 10 are going to get this. It was completely random.
And who did this? Because that's the other thing. A lot of trials are done in-house. So did you do an independent?
Independently done by the largest dermatological clinical testing facility in the country, very well respected, and I know you know them very well.
I do know who they are. Yeah, so, in my former life, I had beauty products tested by them for that very reason, to know that
Absolutely.
the evidence is there and that the claims that you make are valid. Yeah,
absolutely right, and the claims are pertinent to your product. These are not claims made by your active ingredient suppliers. That's really important.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of people will base their claims on, as you say, that the people who've given them the ingredients to put into something.
Yeah.
But actually, that might not necessarily be what ends up in either the way that you've packaged it or delivered it or whatever. It could be completely different, or stored it,
Absolutely. Absolutely. How do you know if you put the same product in one formulation, which has other ingredients, or another formulation, that's going to have the same effect?
Doesn't cancel each other out or something?
You don't know. If you haven't done the tests independently, how do you know, and how can you prove it?
Sure.
The only way you can prove it is by doing what we have done.
Yeah, which presumably is quite expensive.
Yes. It took us a long time to get to the level that we could actually afford to do that trial.
Sure. And what did it show? Because that's bottom line. I mean, now we've all had the kind of the science lesson. Let's get to the really interesting bit. What did it prove?
98% of our cohort, 107 ladies aged from 35 to 60, showed at least one statistically significant improvement in their skin health, which included fine lines, wrinkles, hydration, and something which I like to call the bounce. So they looked at the
bounce, springy bounce. 98%.
98%. And if you went up, I believe the number was from 40 onwards, it was 100%.
That is amazing. So for women over 40?
100% showed at least one statistically significant clinical improvement.
Now,
so the important thing there, is statistically...
I've got so much I want to ask you. This is so fascinating.
So it's statistically significant. So this isn't just it was a couple of percent. This was a marked measure of improvement.
Yeah. I mean, completely. And I have to say, it's something that I personally take and I think is very helpful. And one of the reasons that I think collagen is interesting to talk about, particularly for midlife women, and let's face it, I think the majority of us watching are probably midlife women, is that our ability to absorb collagen, doesn't that deteriorate with age? I mean, a lot of people, for example, use powdered collagens or whatever, that's their choice.
Yeah.
But the ability to actually get that good stuff happening within the skin, the way we process it, doesn't that, like everything, kind of deteriorate with age?
It's not really how you absorb it, it's it's the efficiency at which you can join aminos together to make collagen. Okay. So that's what's deteriorating over time, after 25 in fact. So, I mean, the great analogy I use, like the leaky bucket effect. So if you imagine a bucket of water, full of water, which represents your collagen. At 25, you get a little pinprick at the bottom, and it starts dripping out at the rate of about 1.5% per year, roughly, the approximate numbers. As you age, that hole, unfortunately, gets a bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So David and I's approach has been, right, if that hole is getting bigger, you need to keep topping up, hence supplementation to increase those blood levels, to try and get your body to be stimulated enough to produce more collagen.
Is there any downside with stimulating more collagen? Is there any kind of health concerns or contraindications?
Not unless you have some sort of pre-existing condition that means you're overproducing collagen. There is quite a rare disease, I'm sorry, the name escapes me now.
Which you would know about anyway, wouldn't you? Because you'd be under medication for it.
You would be under a doctor, and that would be a consultant. In fact, it would be a very
Now, let's talk about dosage, because when you look, and it's very interesting again, and this is why you really need to do the real science here, is you look at dosage, and with powders you have to take quite a lot, don't you, to get a kind of the possibility of absorption. Your capsules don't contain very much. So looking at it, you might think, well, that's a bit mingy, a bit skimpy on that. Surely, am I getting good value? Why have you got less in your capsules?
Because of the delivery mechanism. So we found 627 mg to be an optimal dose to give you the results that were shown in our clinical trial.
And that's because it's not being degraded by stomach acids, is that right?
The digestive process in the stomach cannot affect those capsules.
Right.
Hence, you need less to get
So you need less. So you're actually, I guess it's a bit like when you have different forms of vitamins, and we've talked about this a lot on my lives with various experts, clinical experts coming in and talking about the different availability, the bioavailability of different nutrients.
Sure.
And liposomal delivery systems, for example, or using supplements sublingually.
Yes.
Which goes straight into the bloodstream without having to go past what they call the second pass through the liver, and first pass, and get metabolized. So if you are putting drops under the tongue, for example, then your dosage would be lower than if you're swallowing a supplement, which then gets broken down by these, by the stomach doing what it's supposed to do.
Yes.
So it's not enough. You need to know your science. It's not enough just to go, oh, well, I've looked at the back of the label and that's what this says. You really do need to do your research.
You need to do your research, and it's quite clear. Consumers want that evidence, want that trust.
Yeah.
Because in food supplementation, there's very little regulation.
Yeah.
So David and I went with the approach, let's make this a pharma standard product. Let's go for that.
I like that approach, pharma standard,
Yeah, even though we didn't have to do that.
Yeah, sure.
It meant that we're producing a costly, it costs us more to produce. But we didn't want to compromise at all.
Yeah.
So we haven't used any fillers in there either.
So what's in there? So we've got three things, because it's not just collagen that we're talking about here. And you're absolutely right. I'm looking at your ingredients here, and it's, it's your three things. So we've got the marine collagen peptides, which we know are good ingredients. We've got sodium hyaluronate, which is the hyaluronic acid
complex,
and then astaxanthin. So let's talk about the hyaluronic acid and the astaxanthin, because you get the three of them here, which I think is a really good combo.
Yeah.
Why did you include those extra two things?
So the hyaluronic acid complex, that's the key thing here. That complements collagen. So if you imagine collagen is like a meshwork structure, hyaluronic acid goes in those little gaps to plump up and make the skin nice and bouncy. It holds a lot of moisture. Mm-hmm. And we haven't just gone with hyaluronic acid. We've gone with something called a hyaluronic acid complex.
Okay, so explain the difference. What is that then?
So just in a normal supplement, hyaluronic acid would be one length molecule. With us, we've used a complex. So you have lengths that are up and down, which replicate the skin. And that was found to be 20% more effective than just mere plain hyaluronic acid. So we went for that.
Would that be the same topically? I'm seeing that in skin creams as well, actually, that people are using triple hyaluronic acid, so using the different lengths of...
Different lengths, yeah, absolutely.
Really interesting.
Thankfully, you do get some absorption of hyaluronic acid through the skin, which is good. Doesn't happen with collagen. You cannot absorb collagen.
Collagen is this huge little fat molecule, isn't it? It's not going to get through the skin. Yeah, it feels nice. I mean, it's very emollient and soothing, you know, but if you use a collagen cream, it's not going to penetrate, is it?
No, the theory behind that is when you're increasing the moisture levels on the skin, so increasing the...
So transepidermal water loss, all of that.
You got it, absolutely.
Yeah.
so that was the hyaluronic acid.
Okay.
The astaxanthin, that's a super antioxidant. So the way to describe that is like something that's 6,000 times more potent than vitamin C.
6,000 times more potent than vitamin C. Did you hear that, guys, on Facebook and YouTube? That is extraordinary. Sorry, I'm just repeating some of the things just in case there's an issue with the sound.
Sure.
But that is really is potent stuff.
That's potent stuff, absolutely, and it's natural, which is great. You know, it's all our ingredients are naturally derived, which is amazing. So the astaxanthin, just to explain, so in any rapidly dividing cell, you're going to produce an oxygen-free radical. It's part of the reaction that happens when a cell divides.
Okay.
And if you can mop that up quickly, it's less likely to cause damage to the new cells you're producing. So they thought, all right, if you're increasing the amount of skin cells that are being produced, we need something there to help mop up those oxygen-free radicals. And we went for natural astaxanthin. And the results, as you can see in the trial, speak for themselves, really. And
astaxanthin is naturally pink, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
In fact, these little capsules I can show you, they are naturally pale pink. And does it come from an algae, a plant algae?
Yes, it comes from algae. That's right. So it's like a defense mechanism for algae. So when they're hit with UV rays, they turn slightly pink, and we have someone that harvests that pinkness. So that's how we get the astaxanthin.
And that's the reason that flamingos are pink, because they eat all that algae.
And also salmon.
And salmon, okay. So does salmon contain astaxanthin then, naturally?
It does, absolutely. And that's another reason why salmon are so strong at swimming upstream. Really?
Because it makes them strong and fit?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you notice, bears love to eat salmon.
They do.
The reason they're doing that is because they're getting an astaxanthin dose.
That's just amazing, isn't it? So the darker your salmon, so for example, I like buying the wild Alaskan salmon, is really, really dark. I mean, much darker than kind of, farmed salmon that can be really pale. Does that mean it's got more astaxanthin in it?
Loads of asta, yes, definitely. So if you look at astaxanthin just raw, it's like a really dark, reddy, burgundy, shiny pink.
Yeah. How fascinating. And so you've used those three ingredients, and out of those three, I guess playing devil's advocate here, which are the ones that would you say is the most effective for aging skin, or is it this complex of the three together?
It's the complex. You can't have one and expect the same type of results. Right. Those three work together.
Right.
It's it's a skin care cosmeceutical, so it's not just a collagen supplement for sure.
But actually, it's more than that, isn't it? I know that you promote it for skin, and it's called Ingenious Beauty because it's skin. But if you're thinking about the effect on free radical scavenging with an astaxanthin, and then if you're also looking at the effect on joints and cartilage and connective tissue through hyaluronic acid and collagen, this is really something that, particularly for midlife women and men, presumably as well, is going to help with the entire aging process. It's more than just mere vanity, isn't it?
That's a difficult one for me to...
You can't answer that, because I understand that. I put you on the spot slightly. I know you don't have a medical license and you're a pharmacist. You're not going to make outlandish claims that can't be substantiated.
Yes.
But I know that, people have said to you, and you can obviously go onto your website and have a look at all the reviews, the Trustpilot reviews, which are the independent ones. Not just sort of testimonials cherry-picked by companies, but, that it's run by independent organisations. A lot of people are remarking that, not only hair and nails are stronger, but there is relief with joint issues as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's Trustpilot reviews that people can go on to look at. But us at Ingenious would not.
You would not ever. I know that you would never say anything that wasn't, clinically accurate.
Yeah.
And we've had various questions about it. So just to be clear, collagen has to be animal-based, doesn't it? I know that yours is a marine
Yeah.
source. Basically, you get two sources. There's marine and there's bovine from cows.
Yes.
You know, why is that? Why is there no vegetarian or vegan collagen?
Collagen does not exist in the plant genome. So if you see vegan collagen or anything like that, it's not collagen at all. You're getting amino acids that can make up collagen. So the building blocks for collagen or collagen peptides. So you wouldn't actually have a vegan collagen supplement. It doesn't.
But presumably would that still have an effect? I mean, I know it's difficult for you to talk, you know, because obviously you're a founder of Ingenious Beauty, but would there be any benefit? I mean, I imagine that there are lots of vegans and vegetarians watching who are thinking, you know, how am I going to get my collagen then?
Okay, I mean, I can't comment on other vegan products or anything like that from us, because we could see people are asking us. We produced Ingenious Vegan, which contains special root extracts that help to stimulate collagen and hyaluronic acid production.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so you can't get collagen from plants.
So number one, you can't get collagen from plants, but the good news is that you have found a way to provide forms of amino acids that will stimulate the body to make a bit more of its own. Is that right?
Not amino acids.
Not amino acids.
Yeah, it's a root extract that stimulates collagen production.
Really?
So in this, you've also got hyaluronic acid plus the astaxanthin.
Okay, so you're still getting those goodness. So that is a helpful. Okay, well that's a really good alternative, isn't it? And explain why you've got to take it on an empty stomach, because I always have mine first thing in the morning. I do two things in the morning. I don't know what you think about this. I take Amino Slim, which is an L-ornithine amino acid, when I'm going to do a workout, because that's supposed to help with my fat metabolism around the middle. And that absolutely needs completely empty stomach. So I have that first. Then I go do my workout. Then, because I tend not to eat breakfast, because I'm doing my intermittent fasting, I then take my Ingenious Beauty, because I've got nothing in my stomach going through. And then I'll have, you know, brunch like 11 o'clock or something. So why is it important to have nothing going on in your digestive system when you take this?
That's the preference. It's not be all and end all, because
is it not? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're giving you the ideal scenario to take it. And the reason we say that is purely, if there's less food or other things in your stomach, you're less likely to mechanically damage the capsule.
Sure.
So that's why we go for the empty stomach approach.
Okay.
However, if it means you're taking it close to a meal or something like that, you know, I wouldn't be too worried.
Okay. Oh, well, that's good. I mean, I try and be quite forensic about this. We've just been asked here if there is a Liz Loves, and yes, there is. Very grateful. There's an affiliate discount code, which is 15% off at Ingenious Beauty with Liz Loves. So thank you very much for sharing that. Okay, so that's interesting. So it's really, ideally, take it on an empty stomach.
Ideally, yes.
But if you can't. Now, can you get liposomal collagen? And what would you say to that?
Again, you know, I can't really go into too much about other people's tech, but liposomes are fat globules. And so if you're putting collagen in a fat globule as a liposome, as soon as you put it in your mouth contains lipase enzymes. You're going to start breaking down the liposomes. The digestive process will start.
Right.
You may get some
okay.
But using the sort of science and the physiology that I know, liposomes, once you take them orally, the fat will start degrading almost straight away.
Interesting. I guess the thing is you know, that as always, you know, do your research. You know, look for trusted brands that do their researches. Ask about trials. You know, was something, you know, gold standard, double-blind, placebo, clinically controlled? You know, was it done by the company on the product, or was it done on the actual ingredient that's come from a supplier somewhere back in the food chain? And just be guided and just try it. But you know, for me, I'm particularly fascinated in the health benefits, and you know, I know that you can't talk about that, and I'm not going to put you on the spot. I wouldn't do that. But you know, I do know anecdotally that there is really interesting stories from people who've had really quite serious arthritis and pain. And what was very interesting for me going back through all the literature, and I did trawl through so much on PubMed and all the peer-reviewed studies, I mean, that's the other thing, isn't it, peer review, is this connection with arthritis and how that original research, and then the drug companies, I mean, it just sort of disappeared and they started to make kind of patented drugs that, you know, operated in a very different way. So, you know, again, it could be something that could be a more natural alternative potentially.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. And I think you'll be quite excited to see what we're producing next. I'm not going to say who it is.
Really? Oh, you can't do that. That's like a cliffhanger. That's like when you get to the end of a Netflix series and it's just like, what? Yes. What do you mean you've finished on that point? Well, I'm very glad that there's more in the pipeline. And I have to say, you know, I do seriously respect your research. Actually, somebody's just asking here, peer review. Can we talk about studies in journals just before we head off here? What does that mean? Can we talk about meta-analysis and peer review? Because this, again, is really interesting if you're looking at studies.
So peer-reviewed studies are essentially studies that are out in the open for any professor or anybody else to look at and comment upon. And, you know, meta-analysis is looking at all that data as well. So that's it. It's checked out by fellow professors, fellow scientists.
Yeah. Who are independent and have no vested interest, no commercial interest.
Yeah, they're all independent. They have no vested interest in anything.
Fascinating. Perpinder, it's always a pleasure. I know it's been a long time since we've spoken, and thank you very much for your time, and thank you for giving us a bit of a scientific lesson in evidence-based studies and biochemistry and all of that, because it is a minefield out there, and you know, we are very reliant on people who take the time and pay the money, frankly, to do studies to actually prove claims. So thank you.
No problem at all. Thank you so much for having me.
Very nice to see you, and stay well. Have you looked at lactoferrin before I go? I'm going to throw that one at you as a pharmacist. Okay, lactoferrin. Okay. So it's a very interesting subject. Look it up on PubMed. First sign of a cold, get some in. There's a very good affiliate discount brand on Earle Wellbeing called Leapfrog. Right. And I am taking my lactoferrin at the moment. I have everybody around me dropping like flies with coughs and colds. Wow. And touch wood, this table, I have been completely cough and cold free. So.
Wow, okay, I am going to be Googling that now.
That is one for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Liz.
Good to share good stuff. Thanks for joining us today. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye. You're going to have to leave me, hun, because otherwise I'll click everybody off. Yeah.
Yeah, guys.
And I didn't want to do that. It's just so interesting. I have to say, you know, one of the great pleasures of my job is being able to chat and connect with real experts. Yeah, I know lots of you are loving it. You know, at the end of the day, you know, just do your research. Go onto websites, have a look at things like Trustpilot. Yeah, I love a science chat too. Real science. One of the things that Perpinder mentioned there, which you might have clocked, was this triple hyaluronic acid. And this is something that I'm seeing more and more actually in skincare, which I'm loving on my skin. And this one I used it this morning, is by Beauty Pie. And it says on here, if you can see it, triple hyaluronic acid cream. And it's called a miracle cream, which I'm not sure about that. I think that's taking it a bit far, but it is certainly very nice. It's very hydrating. My skin is quite dry at the moment. I've actually just stepped up the amount of retinol I'm using on my skin at the moment as an experiment. I'm being a human guinea pig, which has left my skin, particularly around here, a little bit drier. So I've been using this, I've been using a serum, and then I've been using this cream as well, and I do really like it. And if you heard my chat with Marcia Kilgore a couple of weeks ago, who is the founder of Beauty Pie, she was raving about this, saying it's like a comfort blanket for the skin. I really like it. Doesn't have any fragrance, and it's, yeah, just a very, very good texture. And so that has the 3 different weights of hyaluronic acid in it. And as Perpinder said, you know, there is some evidence that a little bit of the hyaluronic acid will get through the epidermis. So, you know, it's not something, we don't absorb everything we put onto our skin. That's an absolute myth. Otherwise, if you think about it, we'd be sitting in the bath and, you know, kind of swelling up with the water. So the skin is very clever. It doesn't actually absorb very much at all. But you can get little bits through the epidermal layer, the upper bits, and of course help with the transdermal water loss, TWL, which they talk about in scientific terms when it comes to beauty care. So the reason that I mentioned that is that Beauty Pie changed their model recently. You have to subscribe to Beauty Pie in order to buy everything from them at cost price. And it's remarkable. And this is, you know, my little box of goodies here. Comes in these pink cardboard boxes with Beauty Pie written all around them. And funny enough, I sent a box to Kit at uni because he uses one of their clarifying face washes. I hope he's not going to be embarrassed by me calling him out on this. Anyway, and he sent me a screenshot and he said, "Thanks, Mum." He said, "I've just got this pink box delivered to my halls with Beauty Pie written all over it." So I hope he didn't get ribbed too much for that. It did have manly stuff inside it, I should say. But really good. You know, it's very good for students because it's really good value. And, oh, I've just lost my place on here. Hopefully I can get that back. There we go. Yeah, really good value. So anyway, just to say, there is another affiliate discount code for Beauty Pie. Normally it's £59 for the year. If you use your Liz Loves, you can sign up for the whole year just for £49. And that gives you access to everything. And I've just put in my orders, even for little things like the silk hair scrunchies, which I am loving at the moment. So just before I go today, a couple of other things. We talked about liposomal delivery. So Youth and Earth is another great British brand. Again, lots of interesting studies that have gone on there. Youth and Earth, they've got liposomal vitamin C. So vitamin C is something that I really like. Internally and externally, we know that vitamin C serums, for example, are very good for brightening the skin. So if you've got areas of pigmentation, discoloration, then brightening the skin with vitamin C serums can be very good. It's not a very stable molecule. That's the issue with vitamin C. So you need to make sure that you've got a good kind of stabilized version. And liposomal vitamin C is the one that I give my kids and the one that I take. Because it's more easily absorbed, you need less of it to actually have an effect within the body. And I've talked at length about that with Ed, who is the founder of Youth and Earth. And also this little beauty, our alpha lipoic acid. This is quite an interesting one. So this is the precursor to glutathione. So glutathione, you've heard me talk about before, the master antioxidant. And I was found after my Life Code GX testing to be the nutrigenomic testing, I was found that I was blocking glutathione. So I now take glutathione, but our alpha lipoic acid is something that helps produce glutathione. I'm lost now. There's so many hard, long words. Glutathione, that's it, and vitamin C. So this contains both, and there is a Liz Loves with that as well. And just before we get to the end of the month, because we're nearing the end of the month. When is the 1st of, is it Monday the 1st or Sunday? Anyway, we are nearing the end of October, and that means that some of the Liz Loves discount codes, the affiliates that we work with, are expiring. So just to say, Optibac, this is their new packaging, by the way. When I did my live with Optibac not that long ago, I had the plastic packaging. Naughty me, that was my old one. But this is their new packaging, which is all cardboard, which has little cardboard inserts that tell you all about it, and glass bottles. Okay, so that is the Optibac, which I really, Monday, the 1st of November, thank you very much, Tricia. So yeah, in here, actually I don't need to open that, you know what a capsule looks like of Optibac. This is the probiotic, again, clinically proven. It's got the 2 different strains. Do you remember last time I chatted, we were talking about the genus and the species and the strain when it comes to probiotics? So the strain here is 2 distinct strains, one of reuteri, which is the lactobacillus bacteria, and the other one is rhamnosus. And the 2 that are in here are the ones that are clinically proven to reach the vaginal area and be really good for pelvic health. So this is, I've bought this for years, literally years and years, and I was so delighted when my team actually contacted them and said, look, hey guys, can we do a Liz Loves discount on this? Because they didn't actually say because Liz wants to stock up, but you know, that was kind of one of my reasonings. But seriously, they are good, and again, it's an evidence-based product that can really help midlife women. Who was asking about Beauty Pie? Oh, any hints on the new magazine? Zoe, don't tempt me. I will show you When will I show you? When will I not get into trouble? I'm trying to think on my feet here with my team. I think I'll be able to show you on Monday, because Monday is the 1st of November. So I think it won't land on doormats until later next week if you're a subscriber. I hope everyone here is a subscriber. So yeah, you will start to get it from the end of next week. So I think that I should be able to reveal the new cover. It's such a lot of fun. I hope you love it. It's very different to anything I've ever done before. Yes. Oh my goodness, something else. News. I hope that you are all still with me, because I mustn't forget, thinking about going into Christmas, I have the date for the Live Twice annual carol concert. No, we don't sell in Waitrose anymore. Jean, where have you been this last year? You can't buy it in Waitrose, you have to subscribe. So it's cheaper because you get 6 issues for the price of 5 and you get free UK P&P. So please just subscribe, make sure that you get it, okay? So go to lizearlewellbeing.com. I think, Lainey, you'll probably pop a link up on Facebook. So yeah, do subscribe. You don't want to miss the Christmas issue. It's a really, really good one. Oh, Beth here is saying, are you in red underwear with the male hunky model? Well, I'll give you a clue. There is a bit of something coming out that might be along those lines, but I can't talk about that just yet. But red does feature, okay? Yeah, it's going to be so exciting. I hope you love it. Something else that I hope you love is coming to a live event. Who would like to come to a live event? I hope you're all free. So this is my annual charity carol concert. You may remember that I founded a humanitarian charity back in 2010 called Live Twice, and we work in deprived areas throughout the UK and we work overseas. It's something I don't talk very much about here, but it's, you know, it's ongoing, and obviously a lot of our fundraising events have had to be cancelled over the last 18 months, including last year's carol concert. So this is a carol concert that we do purely as a fundraiser. All the money that we raise from it goes to the Live Twice projects. And my brother, who is this amazing musical impresario, he's one of the organists at Canterbury Cathedral, he conducts choirs, and he's just such a great fun guy. I know many of you connect with my brother Adrian. He has got a great team of musicians lined up, and it's going to be back at St Simon Zelotes Church in Chelsea, where it's been held for the last few years. They're amazingly generous to us, and we have a really lovely evening, and it's kind of a cross between a carol service and a carol concert. There's a chance to sing, there's a chance to have some fun. We all meet up afterwards and have a glass of something fizzy, either Prosecco or non-alcoholic. I'm going to talk to my friends at Mighty Brew, perhaps get some of my kombucha going there. Have a homemade mince pie, you know, get a chance to maybe buy some charity Christmas cards, or just hang out really. And we try and do it early in December to get into the festive spirit. So it's going to be on Wednesday the 8th of December. From 6:45, I think the concert actually starts, until about 8 o'clock. So it's nice and hopefully early enough for those of you who'll be going out to dinner or going on to parties. You know, you've still got the rest of the evening free, or if you need to travel back home somewhere, you know, plenty of time to get trains and things. But there are going to be 2 types of tickets. So we're going to have a VIP ticket, which gives you early entrance. We've only got 45 of them, so you need to be really quick if you want one of those. And that's because at the end, it's always such a bun fight. I never get a chance really to chat to everybody. So the early bird tickets will give you VIP entrance that gets you in at 6 o'clock. So a chance to meet me and AD and some of our team and just say hello and, you know, have a glass of something fizzy before the concert starts. And then the seating for that is up. For those of you who've been to the church before, you'll know there's a gallery at the back, like kind of the dress circle, if you like. And so that's where those separate tickets are. And then doors will open at 6:30 for general admission, which is for all ticket holders for the ground floor. So that has just gone live on Eventbrite, which is the ticket platform, which is a really easy platform for us to use the charity. We don't have many resources available to us, so Eventbrite seems to be a really good option for managing ticket sales. So there will be a link. There'll be a link on Facebook. I know that, Lainey, hopefully you can put that up there. There'll be a link on Instagram. I will go and, if I remember, put a link on the charity Instagram as well. But anyway, we'll make the links available. You will be able to find it. And I hope that as many of you as possible can come. That's Wednesday the 8th of December, because it will just be a lovely way to meet and connect and have a chance to sing some carols and to be festive and to meet some of the team. So Leslie here, what are you saying? You're trying to find a link for Beauty Pie, but having trouble finding it. The best way to find my IGTV lives will be on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and just look at Earle Wellbeing magazine YouTube channel, then all previous recordings you'll find there. I just find YouTube is kind of easier for films to navigate. There's a new YouTube clip I think going up today if you want to take a look at that. I hope everyone's subscribed to the Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel. Hey Nikki, yeah, I hope you can make it. That would be so nice. So Penny, that's at St Simon Zelotes Church in Chelsea in Milner Street. Yeah, I wonder if my brother knew Peter Smith. Maybe if he was a singer at Canterbury Cathedral, then yep. Oh, wow, Paula, is that your birthday? You've definitely got to come. Natalie, are you coming? Please. Oh, I hope you do. Excellent. Oh, Sue says, I love your concerts, especially the mince pies. Yeah, I better order extra mince pies. Oh, Natalie, I love this concert. I'll be there with my girls. Wendy is coming. Penny, Justine. Excellent. Oh, that's so nice. Red lipstick, says Rupert. Hi, Rupert. Lovely Rupert Kingston from Delilah. We still have our Liz Loves affiliate code going on Delilah. 20% off that amazing lipstick. Should I wear floozy lipstick in church? That's the question of the day. Maybe I need to go for something a bit more muted. Or maybe I need to be bold. Anyway, thank you for your comment. Lovely, lovely to connect with you all. What a lovely live today. Really nice. So much good information and so much good chat. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow. There'll be a YouTube going up live on tomorrow. That's Thursday, if you're watching in real time, obviously. Friday, I've got Friday 5, really interesting podcast. So I hope that you will join me for that. A little bit different. Some of you may have seen Panorama on Tuesday, really hard-hitting documentary about the level of toxic waste and single-use plastics. So I've got a really interesting expert that I'm talking to about that, and of course talking about the inevitable HRT malarkey and all of that going on. So a bit varied, but that's, you know, light and shade. That's what it's all about, isn't it? But lots of good evidence-based information as always. Will the concert be filmed? That's a really good question, Victoria. I will have to check with the other performers, because sometimes performers don't like it if you film them and then, you know, upload it to a platform. So we will check out the kind of performing rights and all of that. It may be that we can't film it and upload it, but it'd be amazing if we could, wouldn't it? So thank you very much for that question. I will be asking. Anyway, sending everybody lots of love. Thank you for all your comments and questions and hearts. Really appreciated as always. And I shall see you again very soon. Join me Monday live when I'll see if I can do that magazine cover reveal as well. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.